Good day, everyone. I am Abrian Tengson, and now we are going to tackle Agricultural and Fisheries Modernization Act, Law of 1997. Republic Act Number 8435. This act shall be known as the Agriculture and Fisheries Modernization Act of 1997, or called Afma. This was approved on December 22, 1997. It is a policy instrument defining measures to modernize Philippine agriculture for the country to compete in the global market. Republic Act 8435, the Agriculture and Fisheries Modernization Act of 1997, simply known as AFMA. Enactment on December 22, 1997. The purpose of this act is to improve the living conditions of farmers and fisherfolk and increase their productivity amidst growing needs of the market, local and abroad. AFMA aims to transform the agriculture and fisheries sector's technology-based, advanced and competitive industry, ensure that the small farmers and fishfolk have equal access to assets, resources, and services, guarantee food security, encourage farmers and fisherfolk groups to bond together for more bargaining power, strengthens people's organization, cooperatives, and non-government organizations by enhancing their participation in decision-making, pursue an aggressive market-driven approach to make the product more competitive in the market, stimulate further processing of agricultural products and make it more marketable, and implement policies that will invite more investors to establish business in the country. Salient provisions of the law. Agriculture and Fisheries Modernization Act of 1997. This law has broad-based provisions covering: first is production and marketing support services, next is human resources development, research development and extension, rural non-farm employment, trade and fiscal incentives, and lastly, general provisions. Production and Marketing Support Services. Section 38. Declaration of Policy. It is hereby declared the policy of the state to empower Filipino farmers and fishfolk, particularly the women, involved in agriculture and fisheries through the provisions of timely, accurate, and responsive business information and efficient trading services which will link them to profitable markets for their products. With this section, this will give an opportunity to the Filipino farmers to widen their knowledge with regards to the area of businesses and trading services in order for them to connect profitable markets for their products. Section 39. Coverage. A market information system shall be installed for the use benefit of, but not limited to, the farmers and fishfolk, cooperatives, traders, processors, the LGUs, and the department.
Next is the Section 40, which is the Marketing Assistance System. The department shall establish a national marketing assistance program that will immediately lead to the creation of a national marketing umbrella in order to ensure the generation of the highest possible income for the farmers and fisherfolk, or groups of farmers and fisherfolk, matching supply and demand in both domestic and foreign markets. So, ang kaning sa Section 40, which is the Marketing Assistance System, mo ni siya ang mag-ensure para mas mapataas pa ang makita sa mga magsasaka, sa mga mangisda, or sa mga grupo sa mga magsasaka. Next is the Section 41, which is the National Information Network. A National Information Network, or NIN, shall be set up from the department level down to the regional, provincial, and municipal offices with 1 year from the approval of this act, taking into account existing information networks and systems. So, ang kaning sa National Information Network, mao ni siya ang gikan sa ubos nga antas nga dapat siya mapataas padulong sa tanggapan ng panrehiyon, panlalawigan at sa munisipyo sa loob ng isang taon. And the next is the Section 42, which is the Information and Marketing Service. The NIN shall provide information and marketing services related to agriculture and fisheries which shall include the following. First is the supply data, next is the demand data, price and price trends, product standards for both fresh and processed agricultural and fisheries products, directory of but not limited to cooperatives, traders, K-market centers, processors, and business institutions concerned with agriculture and fisheries at the provincial and municipal levels. Next is research information and technology generated from research institution involved in agricultural fisheries. Next is the international, regional, and local market forecast, and the last is the resource accounting data. So, sa kaning NIN, dapat ni siya nga mag-provide ng mga information o mga serbisyo nga ugnay siya sa mga agrikultura, pareha nang sa pangingisda o sa uban pa nga related sa agriculture. Next is the section 43, which is the initial setup. The department shall provide technical assistance in setting up the NIN at the local level through the cooperatives and the LGUs. So, ang kaning sa initial setup, mani siya ang mag-provide nga ang NIN nga gikan sa local level nga mapadulong siya sa cooperative o sa mga LGUs. Next is the section 44, which is the role of government agencies. The Bureau of Agricultural Statistics will serve as the central information server and will provide technical assistance to end users in accessing and analyzing product and market information and technology. Next is the section 45, which is the role of private sector. The NIN shall likewise be accessible to the private sector engaged in agriculture and fisheries enterprises. The department shall formulate guidelines and determine fees for private sector's entities that use the NIN. Next is in the other infrastructure. This is the section 46, which is agriculture and fisheries infrastructure support services. The Department of Public Works and Highways, the Department of the Transportation and Communications, the Department of Trade and Industry, and the LGUs shall coordinate with the Department of address the infrastructure requirements in accordance with this Act. So, kaning sa Section 46, mo sila ang mga department nga para matugunan ang mga kinahanglan sa infrastruktura. Next is the Section 47, which is the criteria for prioritization. The prioritization of the government resources for rural infrastructure shall be based on the following criteria. So, sa kaning Section 47, which is the criteria, mo ni siya ang mga priority nga mga resources para sa katong mga rural infrastructure. Din hindi sila nagabase pareha sa first is the agro-industrial potential of the area. Second is the socio-economic contribution of the investment in the area. Next is the absence of public investment in the area. And the last is the presence of agrarian reform beneficiaries and other small farmers and fisherfolk in the product standardization and the consumer safety.
Public infrastructure facilities. Public infrastructure investment shall give preference to the current type and model of infrastructure facilities that are cost-effective and will be useful for production. Private infrastructure facilities. For infrastructure facilities primarily benefiting private investors, the state shall facilitate the purchase and use of such facilities and shall keep to the minimum bureaucratic requirements for these types of investment. Public Works Act. The Department of Public Works and Highways shall coordinate with the department for the purpose of determining the order of priorities for public works. Fish ports, seaports, and airports. The Department of Transportation and Communications, Philippine Ports Authority, and Philippine Fisheries Development Authority shall coordinate with the Department of Purpose for the purpose of determining priority fish ports, seaports and airports, and facilitating the installation of bulk handling and storage facilities. Farm to market roads. The department shall coordinate with the LGUs and the resident farmers and fisherfolk in order to identify priority location of farm to market roads to take into account the number of farmers and fisherfolk and their families who shall benefit therefrom and the amount. Kining farm to market roads katong mga farmers o fisherfolk nagproduce og mga products gitagaan sila priority sa taga-department. Nakig-coordinate sila sa LGUs nga katong naglisod og pag-deliver o pag-distribute sa ilang mga produkto gikan sa farmer is matagaan sila maayong dalan para dali sila makaabot sa marketplace. So the advantage is dili madaot or mabunog ang products na gikuhaan sa farms. So pag-abot sa market is dili siya masayang. Ang ganahan sa mga market vendors is mga fresh like crops and fruits, labi na sa isda mga gikuha sa farmers sa ikan sa dagat. Rural Energy, the department shall coordinate with the Department of Energy, DOE, DPWH, the NAA, and NAPOCOR for the identification and installation of appropriate types of energy sources, particularly in the use of non-conventional energy. Communications infrastructure. The department shall coordinate with the DOTC to facilitate the installation of telecommunication facilities in priority areas in order to enhance agriculture and fisheries development. Water supply system. The department shall coordinate with the DPWH and the LGUs for the identification and installation of water supply system in locality for agro-industrial uses to enhance agriculture and fisheries development in the area. Research and technology infrastructure. The department, in coordination with other government agencies, shall give priority and facilitate the funding of infrastructure necessary for research ventures such as farm laboratories and demonstration farms with state colleges and universities that derive their core funds from the department. Research and technology infrastructures. Ang mga agencies na bilangan ni like ETI, DOST, and Research Center. Pan pa nga agency, kana nga agencies mag-research sila unsay mga technology nga unsay maayong buhatan para sa agricultural production. Og labi na unsay gikuha sa mga farmers like seafoods o i-test nila na sa laboratories para identify nga or safety ba na nga food or dili. Og dili basta-basta ang mga farmers og makuha og mga resources kay i-check pa man sa mga agencies before ibaligya sa mga market. Pinaagi sa research, makaproduce ang agency ng mga technology, dili lang kay sa foods, kundi sa mga gamit, sa mga equipment and tools para gamitin sa mga farmers nga sa gikuha ang mga resources nila. Post-harvest facilities. The department shall coordinate with the Bureau of Post-Harvest for Research and Extension and the Post-Harvest Horticulture Training and Research Center of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Ang example sa post-harvest facilities is mga market infrastructure, mga transportation facilities, weighing scales, cold storage facilities, warehouse, dryers or moisture meters, ug uban pa. Kaya nga facilities is importante na siya sa mga farmers, labi na pagkuha sa mga isda, labi na daghan. So, kaya nga facilities is gamit kaisa sa mga farmers para makaproduce lagdaghan padung sa market. Public market and abattoirs. The department shall encourage the LGUs to turn over the management and supervision of public market and abattoirs to market vendors, cooperatives, and for that purpose, The appropriation for the post-harvest facilities shall include the support for the market vendors cooperatives. Agricultural machinery. The department shall give a priority to the development and promotion of appropriate agricultural machinery and other agricultural mechanization technologies to enhance agricultural mechanization in the countryside.
The silent provisions of the law. In Section 60, this is a declaration of policy. It is a policy of the state that all sectors involved in the production, sa processing, sa distribution, and marketing of food and non-food agricultural and fisheries products shall adhere to and implement the use of product standards in order para po ensure ang safety sa consumers and also to promote the competitiveness of agriculture and sa fisheries products. In Section 61, it is a Bureau of Agriculture and Fisheries Product Standards. The department within 6 months after the approval of this act and in consultation with the Department of Trade and Industry and the Bureau of Food and Drugs shall establish the Bureau of Agriculture and Fisheries Product Standards or the BAFPS. In Section 62, it is a coverage. The Bureau of Agriculture and Fisheries Product Standards shall set and implement standards for fresh, primary, and secondary process of agricultural and fishery products. So, sa Section 62, ang BAFPS or the Bureau of Agriculture and Fisheries Product Standards kay nag-promote o nag-implement of standards para sa mga fresh, sa primary and secondary processes for sa agriculture and sa fishery products. In Section 63, this is a powers and function. The BAFPS or the Bureau of Agriculture and Fisheries Product Standards shall have the following powers and function. First is to formulate and enforce standards of quality in the processing, preservation, packaging, labeling, importation, exportation, distribution, and advertising of agricultural and fisheries products. Second, to conduct research on product standardization, alignment of the local standards with the international standards, and to conduct regular inspection of processing plants, storage facilities, abattoirs, as well as public and private markets in order to ensure freshness, safety, and quality of products. In Section 64, this is a pool of experts and advisors. The BAFPS or the Bureau of Agriculture and Fisheries Product Standards may coordinate, seek the services of, and consult with both private and governmental agencies, research institutes, and educational establishments, such as other individuals and entities with expertise in the field of product standards and consumer safety. Okay, sa Section 64, ang BAFPS kay pangita siya or ga-consult or ga-coordinate siya sa mga both private or other mga agencies para sa mga expert ana nga field of product standard para sa safety sa mga consumer. Human Resource Development. In Section 65, this is a declaration of policy. It is hereby declared the policy of the state para to give priority sa education and training on science and also sa technology in order to accelerate social progress and also to promote total human liberation and development. In Section 66, this is a National Agriculture and Fisheries Education System or the NAFES. First, to establish and to maintain, to support a complete and integrated system of agriculture and fisheries education na relevant to the needs of the economy, the community, and sa society. Also to modernize and rationalize agriculture and fisheries education from the elementary to the tertiary level. The third one is to unify, to coordinate, and to improve the system of implementation of academic programs that are geared toward achieving agriculture and fisheries development in the country. And lastly, to upgrade the quality para to ensure the sustainability and also to promote global competitiveness at all levels of agriculture and fisheries.
Section 67. Education Program for Elementary and Secondary Levels. To develop appropriate values that form the foundation for sustained and growth in agricultural fisheries and modernization. Number 2 is to increase the attractiveness of agriculture and fisheries education so that the most young and talented person will look at agricultural and fisheries as an acceptable option for career and livelihood. To promote appropriation of science in agricultural and fisheries development. To develop among students positive attitudes toward entrepreneurship and global completion and in the agriculture and fisheries business. To improve the represent curriculum in the elementary and secondary levels by emphasizing the core values necessary for agriculture and fisheries modernization and development of a system for the strict enforcement of school regulation regarding standards and requirements. Section 68, Post-Secondary Education Program. Section 69 is a network of national centers of excellence for tertiary education. An institutional accessibility, population, economic contribution of agricultural and fisheries in the community and the needs of unique requirements of the year. Quantity and quality of research studies conducted, degree of utilization of research results, quantity and quality of faculty members, type of facilities, linkages with international organization, and potential contribution to agriculture fisheries development of the target areas. Section 70. Rationalization Plan. For the purpose of upgrading and maintaining a high degree in academic excellence in the fields of agriculture and fisheries, all existing public and private college and universities that are not after designated and accredited as a center of excellence shall be given adequate time to redirect its program to non-agriculture and non-fisheries areas needed by the province or region or merged program with accredited NCAs. In accordance with a rationalization plan to jointly formulated by CHED and the Philippine Association of State University and Colleges upon consultation with the institution concerned. Section 71. Counterpart Funding Form LGUs. The LGUs shall within 2 years from the effectivity of this Act provide at least 10% of the maintenance and other operating expenses budget for the operation of provincial institutes within their area of responsibility. Section 78. Section 72. National Integrated Human Resource Development Plan in Agricultural and Fisheries. The CHED, in coordination with the department and appropriate government agencies, shall formulate and develop, implement an integrated human resource development plan in agriculture and fisheries, which shall serve as an instrument that will provide overall direction and setting priorities in curricular programs, enrollment, performance targets, and investment programs. Section 73. It is an output-oriented performance standard. In order to ensure institutional accountability, efficiency, and quality, there shall be formulated and developed an output-oriented performance standard which shall serve as the primary instrument for institutional evaluation. Section 74. Evaluation System. Not later than 1 year from the effectivity of this Act, the CHED shall establish a baseline information using the output-oriented performance standard referred to in Section 73 of this title. 1 every 5 years thereafter, all designated NCAs in agriculture and fisheries shall be subject to a third-party evaluation. The evaluation shall include, among others, management and educational experts of national stature, representatives of key sectors of the agriculture and fisheries industries, as well as representatives of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the Department of Science and Technology, and the National Economic and Development Authority. Section 75. Agriculture and Fisheries Board. There shall be created an Agricultural Fisheries Board in professional regulation commissioned to upgrade the agricultural and fisheries profession. Those who have not passed the civil service examination for fisheries and agriculture but have served the industry in the private or a public capacity for not less than 5 years shall automatically granted eligibility by the Board of Examiners. Section 76. Continuing Agriculture and Fisheries Education Program. The Commission of Higher Education, the Department of Education, Culture and Sports and Technical Education, and Skills Development Authority, in coordination with the Department and the public and private universities and colleges, shall formulate and develop a national integrated of continuing agriculture and fisheries education program, which shall address the current education and training requirements of teachers, professors, and educators in agricultural fisheries. Section 77 is a scholarship program. The CHED, in organized coordination with the Department and the public and private universities and colleges, shall formulate and develop a national integrated of continuing agriculture and fisheries education program, which shall address the current education and training requirements of teachers, professors, and educators in agricultural fisheries. Section 77 is a scholarship program. The CHED, in organization with the public and private university and colleges, TESDA, and the DBM, shall develop a national scholarship program that provides opportunities for deserving academic staff to pursue advanced degrees in agricultural fisheries where appropriate. Such scholarships program shall also provide opportunities to graduate work in the foreign universities. Section 78, Merit System. To promote the development of a scientific excellence and academic scholarship, that public and private university and colleges, in cooperation with the CHED and the DBM, shall institute an output-oriented unified system of promotion for academic personnel. Section 79. The Budgetary Allocation Scheme. The current appropriation of or budgets of state universities and colleges that are inherently designated as NCAs shall continue and shall be modified and adjusted in succeeding years in order to meet the standards of the rationalized programs of the institutional as approved by Congress and shall be included in the annual General Appropriation. NCAs that are created under this Act shall likewise be provided with a budgetary support based on their programs and use staffing pattern and approved by DBM and shall.
My name is Jake Rojas, and today I'm gonna discuss the Section 80 to 90. Section 80, Declaration of Policy. It is hereby declared the policy of state to promote science and technology as essential for national development and progress. So, it is the law that has accompanied and which has given the opportunity to raise and gives technologies for our agriculture. Now, Section 81, the National Research Development System in Agriculture and Fisheries. Section 82, Special Concerns in Agriculture and Fisheries Research Services. Section 83, Funds for Research and Development, allocation of multi-year budgets which allow treated as research and development grants. The budget for agriculture and fisheries research and development shall be at least 1% of the gross value added or GVA by the year 2001, allocating at least 1% of the total amount by 1999. Department of Finance or the DOF, in consultation with the department, shall formulate revenue enhancement measures to fund this facility. At least 20% shall be spent in support of basic research and not more than 80% shall be used applied research and technology development, which at least 10% shall be used for technology, packaging, and transfer activities. Now, a science fund shall be established from which the scientific community in agriculture and fisheries shall draw its financial resource for sustained career development, provided that only the interest earnings of funds shall be used. So, Section 84, Excellence and Accountability in Research and Development. So, excellence and accountability in research and development, that's where the genius of the genius belongs. So, where they can do the task as what they have to do in that particular area, or to do some research and development for the agriculture. Okay. Section 85, Communication of Research Results and Research Extension. Linkage. Research information and technology shall be communicated through National Information Network or the NIN. This is the most very significant and important for our agriculture. And extension services. Section 86, Declaration Policy. It is hereby declared the policy state promotes science and technology. So this is the the very utilized part or section where it was located at the AFMA. Now, Section 87, Extension Services, Agriculture and Fisheries Extension Services shall cover the following major services: the farming and fishing community, training services, farm or business advisory services, information and communication support services through media. So in this section they gives information, or they gave guidance, also a knowledge to do this listed activities or these fishing community training activities, farmer business advisory services, demonstration services, and information communication services through Trimedia. So that's what they do in Section 87. Now, Section 88, Special Concerns in the Delivery of Extension Services. Section 89, the National Extension System, Agriculture and Fisheries, or the NESAF, NESAF. Now, Section 90, the role of local government units, or the LGUs, is the responsible for delivering direct agriculture and fisheries extension services. So they are the one who carried on the direct agriculture fisheries extension services, and the extension program state of colleges and universities shall primarily focus on the improvement of the capability of the LGA extension service by providing degree and non-degree training programs, technical assistance, extension research activities, monitoring and evaluation of LGU extension projects, information supports services, the Trimedia electronics. So,
for Section 91 to 99 is under the Rural Non-Farm Employment of Afma Law. To rapidly shift towards industrialization, needs program is to be instituted with the following components: educations and training rural industrialization, and industry dispersal, financing, health and nutrition, basic infrastructure, and food security. This program intends to meet the basic needs and rural households and assist worker subsistence farmers and fisher folks in adjusting from agrarian to industrial economy. To complement the basic needs program, the rural industrialization and industries dispersal program shall be implemented under this program. The board of disinvestment is mandated to grant highest priority of fiscal incentives to business and industries with linkage to agriculture. Government agencies shall be provide integrated service to prospective enterprises in the formulation of investment priorities in the rural areas. Participating agencies may avail of free training, technical and advisory service from any government agencies.
My name is Sheila Marikyo Pipito, Section G1. I am from the continuation of salient provision of the law from Rural Industrialization Industry Dispersal Program. Section 100 Principles. Rural industrialization and industry dispersal program shall be based on the interplay of market forces. Section 101 Role of Government Agency. The appropriate government agency under the leadership of LGUs concerned shall be provide integrated service and information to prospective enterprise under the non-stop shop concept. Section 102 Participating Enterprises. Participating enterprises may request any government agency for training, technical and advisory service free of cost. Section 103 Financing. Except of basic infrastructure and other goods that benefit all citizens, the facility of this program should be undertaken and financed by the private sector. Section 104 Role of TISDA. TISDA shall organize local communities that will advise on the scope, nature, and duration of training of the above-mentioned programs. Section 105 Role of the DNR. The Department of DNR shall be organized a training of workers in coastal resources management and sustainable fishing techniques. Section 106 Role of Technology and Livelihood Research Center, TLRC. The TLRC shall undertake field training in entrepreneurship and management of workers involved in a basic need program. Section 107. Special Training Program for Women. The Department of Collaboration of the appropriate government agency concerned shall be plan and implement a special training project for women for absorption of basic needs and rural industrialization programs. Section 108. Taxation policies that may not deter the growth of value, adding activities in the rural areas. Section 109. All enterprise engaged in agriculture and fisheries as duly certified by the Department in consultation with the Department of Finance and a Board of Investment shall for 5 years after the effective of this act. Section 110. Any person, partnership, cooperation, association, and other juridical entity found circumventing the provision of Section 109 in this Act. Section 111. Initial Appreciation. For the first year of implementation of this Act, the amount of 20 billion pesos is hereby appropriated. 30% for irrigation, 10% for the post-harvest facilities, 10% for other infrastructure, 10% for the Agri-Industry Modernization Credit and Financing Program or EMCFP to be deposited for the department in participating rural-based public and private financial institution, provided that no less than 50% of said funds shall be deposited in rural bank and cooperative banks. 8% for the implementation of the Farmer Fisher Fact Marketing Assistance System and support of Market Vendors Cooperative. 10% for research and development, 4% of which shall be used for support and the biotechnology program. 5% for the capability building of farmers and fisher fact organization and LGU for the effective implementation of the agriculture and fishery program at the local level. 6% for salary supplement and extension worker under the LGUs. 6% for the salary supplementation of extension worker under the LGUs. 5% for the NAPIs for the upgrading of the facilities and state universities and colleges that will be chosen as National Center of Excellence in Agriculture and Fishery Education. 4% for the National Information Network or NIN consisting of both national and local levels. 1 3/4% for CUC and test the administered rural non-farm employment training, and 1/4% of the identification of the CAFDAZs.
Section 112, the Department of the Budget and Management, or TBM, is now directed to include in the President's budget of expenditures for submission to Congress an amount of not less than 17 billion pesos. For the implementation of this act, each year for the following is 6 years. Additional funding will come from 20% of the proceeds of the securitization of government assets, including the Subic, Clark, and the other special economic zones. Other sources of the funds shall be the following: 50% of the net earnings of the public states authority, loans, grants, bequests, or donations, whether from local or foreign sources, 40% of Test the Skills Development Fund, net proceeds from the privatization of the Food Terminal Incorporated, or FTI, the Bureau of the Animal Industry, or BAA, the Bureau of Plant Industry, or the BPI, and the other assets of the department that will be identified by the GA Secretary and recommended of the President for privatization. proceeds from the minimum access volume MAV in accordance with the provisions of Republic Act Number 8178, Poverty Alleviation Fund, and the 50% of the Support Facilities and Service Fund under Republic Act Number 6657. Section 113, or the implementing rules and regulation. The Secretary, inside 90 operating days after the deficiencies of this Act, collectively with the Department of Agrarian Reform, or the DAR, Department of Environmental and Natural Resources, or the DENR, Department of Finance, DOF, Department of Science and Technology, the DOST, Department of Trade and Industry, the DTI, Commission on Higher Education, or CHED, Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, the TESDA, Department of Education, Culture and Sports, or DECS, Department of Social Services and Development, DSSD, National Economic and Development Authority, or the NEDA, Department of Budget and Management, or the DBM, Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE, Commission on Audit, or the COA, Civil Service Commission, or the CSC, in the session with different businesses involved farmers, fisherfolk, and agri-commercial enterprise organizations, and in coordination with the Congressional Oversight Committee on Agriculture and Fisheries Modernization, shall promulgate the regulations and guidelines for the powerful implementation of this Act. The Secretary shall put up to the Committee on the Agriculture of each Houses of Congress copies of the imposing regulations and guidelines inside 30 days after promulgation. From Section 114, Congressional Oversight Committee on the Agricultural and Fisheries Modernization. A Congressional Oversight Committee on Agricultural and Fisheries Modernization is hereby created to be composed of the chairs of the Committee on Agriculture of each Houses, 6 contributors of the House of Representatives, and 6 contributors of the Senate, to be precise, respectively by way of means of the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate, shall undertaking to have the diverse sectors and areas of the represented. The chair of the committees on agriculture within the Senate and House of Representatives will be respectively the chair and the co-chair of the Oversight Committee. For Section 115, powers and functions of the committee, which explains the Congressional Oversight Committee in Agriculture and Fisheries Modernization shall have the following powers and functions. Letter A. Prescribe and adopt guidelines that will govern its work. Hold hearings, receive testimonies, and report pertinent so it's concerned. Secure from any department, bureau, office of instrumentality of the government such as assistance be needed, including technical information, preparation and production of reports, and submission of recommendation of plans as may require. Summon by subpoena any public or private citizen to testify before it, or required by subpoenas, uses tectum to produce before it such records, reports, or other documents as may be necessary in the performance of its functions. Letter E. Use resource persons for the public, both public and private sectors as may be needed. Or F. Carry on the winding up work of Agricom, such as editing and printing all technical reports and studies, as well as bibliographic cataloging of its collection of materials and continuing its information and advocacy work. Letter G. Costs to be transferred to the Committee of Works, Outputs, Materials, and Assets, Funds and Supplies, and Equipment of Agricom. Approve the budget for the work of the committee, and all disbursements therefore include compensation of all personnel. Organize its staff and appoint such employees and personnel, whether temporary, contractual, or consultancy, subject to applicable rules, and generally to exercise all powers necessary to attain the purposes of which it's created. For Section 116, periodic reports, the committee shall submit periodic reports on its findings and make recommendations. to actions taken by the Congress and appropriate departments, and that in order to carry out the objectives of this act, an initial amount of 20 million pesos is hereby appropriated for the Oversight Committee for the first year of its operation.
Section 117, Automatic Review. Every 5 years after the effectivity of this act, an independent review panel composed of experts to be appointed by the President shall review the policies and programs in the Agriculture and Fisheries Modernization Act. Section 118, Repealing Clause. All laws, decrees, executive issuance, rules, and regulations inconsistent with this act are hereby repealed or modified accordingly. Section 119, Separability Clause. The provisions of this act are hereby declared to be separable, and in the event one or more of such provisions are held unconstitutional, the validity of the other provisions shall not be affected thereby. Section 120, Effectivity. This act shall take after 30 days from the date of its publication in the official gazette or at least 2 newspapers of general circulation. The agencies that have complied with the requirements of Afma are the education and training institutions like the Department of Agrarian Reform or DAR, Department of Environment and Natural Resources or DENR, Department of Finance or DOF, Department of Science and Technology or DOST, Department of Trade and Industry or DTI, Commission on Higher Education or CHED, Technical Education and Skills Development Authority or TESDA, Department of Education, Culture and Sports or DECS, Department of Social Service and Development or DSSD, National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA, Department of Budget and Management or DBM, Department of Labor and Employment or DOLE, Commission and Audit COA, Civil Service Commission or CSC. Strategies, efficient AFMA implementation. Local and international level and dominance presence or agrarian reform. Marketing development and moderate with support of government. Guided by sound practices of sustainability. Global approach competitiveness. Technology competitiveness centered of human development.
The AFMA Implementation Updates. Agriculture and Fisheries Modernization Act of 1997, simply known was enacted on December 22, 1997. And the National Agri-Fishing Program, NAFMP, was updated last April 2017. The existing RAF-MD of all concerned, the regional field office shall update until NAFMP or before June 2021 for consolidation and irrigation of NAFMP. DAP and DPC successfully accomplished the National Full-Blown Impact Assessment of the National Agriculture and Fisheries Modernization Act AFMA began to June 2019 to June 2020. Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program extension with reforms known also as CARPER or CARPIR Republic Act 9700 was signed into law on August 7, 2009. One of the reasons of AFMA faltered in implementation was the fact that the financial resources which were supposed to be committed for the implementation of law were not delivered. These governance issues include corruption, such as the alleged fertilizer scam, politicization of the bureaucracy, weak technical and managerial capability, and less than ideal cooperation between the national government and local government units, or LGU, with regard to rural development programs. There are no doubt that the lack of financial support for the AFMA has greatly hindered the proper implementation of programs meant to develop an agriculture sector. While the agriculture budget has increased significantly over the past years and is expected to grow further in 2009, funding gaps still remain, and fully releasing of funds promised by the AFMA should be of most importance. This is the site agriculture problems in the Philippines or globally. High input costs. Many Filipino farmers are simply unable to take their production further due to the high expenses to many critical inputs. The lack of post-harvest facilities, climate change, market forces, land rent, demographics, small farm size, 78% farm are less than 3 hectares. The land is being encroached upon the housing and industrial sectors, absence of critical programs and efficient irrigation system, 10 is inadequate management program on soils, pests and disease, the reduced farm labor, expensive and inappropriate farm equipment, climate change and natural disasters, last is an inadequate technology transfer mechanism.
This is the end of our video report about Agriculture and Fisheries Modernization Act Law of 1997 Republic Act 8435.